Welcome to the podcast, Brad. So for those of you who don't know Brad Yates is the EFT Wizard. On YouTube, he has over 1,000 videos viewed over 33 million times. So safe to say he is amazing at what he does. So Brad, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited that you're here because I've watched your videos. I watch them daily, at least once, but sometimes up to 7 times a day because they just help me get into alignment. And yeah, they're so amazing. So yeah, thank you for being here.
Well, my pleasure. I'm very happy to be here.
um, Now, would you like to introduce yourself further?
What more can you say? I tap on my face for a living. And I've been doing it for a while, for a couple of decades now. And before that, I was an actor, traveled the world, traveled the world doing theater, even performed in Australia, the Victoria Arts Center, and then I got into doing personal development work, and now I've made over 1,000 short films of my own, as it were.
Oh, I love it. So, how did you get into EFT specifically? Because it is quite a niche uh, modality to get into and have over 1,000 videos of. So, yeah.
Well, I started out as a hypnotherapist. Well, as I said, I started as an actor, but when our first child was on the way, I thought, maybe now I need a backup career to raise my family. So while I was still pursuing my acting career, I was also building a hypnotherapy practice. And after a couple of years, when our second child was on the way, I thought, this is really what I want to do. This is what I feel called to do. And left Hollywood. We moved to Northern California, and it was through some other hypnotherapists that were talking about this energy therapy and this tapping stuff. And hey, there's this big conference going on in Las Vegas. It's like, oh, all right. I was open to new things and took a training with Gary Craig, the founder of EFT. And he's there having us tap on our face. And fortunately, as an actor, one of the things I had done was I'd gone to Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Clown College. So tapping on my face was not the strangest thing I'd ever done at this point. I know when some people first see EFT and we're tapping all over the face and the torso, and they say, "Wow, that looks really weird."
Mm.
But fortunately, yeah, it was not that strange for me at that point. So I was more open to it, and I started introducing it into my hypnotherapy sessions. And little by little, they became tapping sessions with a little bit of hypnosis at the end.
Mm.
And then I started doing them online, creating little audios for online, and then YouTube came along, and I thought, wow, that's cool. What if I made a tapping video that people could start their day with, and I'll call it Tap of the Morning. And it was all I intended to do. I had no idea about. I even didn't know how to upload a video. I had a friend of mine who was more technical than I was upload the video for me onto YouTube, and that was it for me. And then 6 months later, I thought, oh, I should have a tap of the evening so people could do a tapping round to end their day. And then I'm done. And then I had another idea a few weeks later, and then another. And now, as you said, there's over 1,000 of them.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's so cool. I love I because I remember those tap of the mornings. Like I think it was it 14 years ago or something, or 13 years ago that you
It was
started?
2007. So, yeah,
Okay.
13 years ago almost.
13 years ago. Wow, that is some solid momentum of tapping. That is amazing. Um, yeah, I've spoken to so many people, and you do get a lot of different views. Some people are like, "Oh yeah, that's so awesome," but some people are like, "I just don't understand tapping." I'm like, "How could you not?" So yeah, like maybe for the listeners who have absolutely no idea what EFT is, do you want to explain what it is and how it works?
Yeah. Why do we tap on our face? So it's EFT is short for emotional freedom techniques, and it is originally based on acupuncture. So for thousands of years in Chinese medicine, they have said there's a flow of energy through the body along these pathways that are called meridians. And when this energy is flowing naturally, we experience our natural state of health and well-being, physically and emotionally. And when this energy gets stuck, we don't feel so good. And when we don't feel good, we also don't think very clearly. We don't make the best decisions. And that has all kinds of unfortunate consequences for our lives. So in traditional acupuncture, the doctor would stick needles in these different points to stimulate that healthy flow of energy. And now we're just stimulating those same points just by tapping with our fingertips. And we have modern research showing that it dramatically lowers stress. So we can see that in things like cortisol. Cortisol is one of the main stress hormones. And we have seen dramatic reduction in cortisol from the tapping. We have fMRI studies. My friend Dr. Peter Stapleton, who's just south of you in Gold Coast, has at Bond University has done fMRI studies showing where you can see the brain activity, the different parts of the brain that light up under stress. And then after the tapping, those parts of the brain are not lighting up anymore. So beyond the fact that those of us who have been tapping for a long time just know that it works and just feel it, it's really great to have the scientific evidence showing that something is happening and that stress is being reduced. So when you consider that most, if not all, of the issues that bother us are either caused by or worsened by stress, having something that is scientifically validated to lower stress quickly and naturally is a profound tool for anyone to have.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And when I'm doing these tapping videos, one of the things that I experience is this yawning as well. Like I find
Yeah.
myself yawning. So I was thinking like either it's, I'm just gonna guess here, you can definitely correct me. Is it like
You're just really bored watching my
yeah.
videos. That's fine, Emily. Okay. Now I'm tapping. Okay.
uh,
No, no.
um,
When I was an actor and people yawned, that was a bad thing. But when in EFT, it's a sign of energy shifting. So there are a number of different physical reactions to energy shifting, and yawning is the most common. So you'll often see people when they're tapping yawning.
Yeah, yeah, amazing. I was gonna go with that or like moving into more like a parasympathetic nervous system state as well, because I feel like if I'm really flighty and I do some tapping, I just afterwards I'm like, thank you, Brad. I'm so relaxed now. This is
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, and that really is what it does. Is it the tapping expedites the parasympathetic nervous system.
That's
So for those
great.
who aren't sure, the sympathetic nervous system is when this little part of the brain, the amygdala in the limbic system, recognizes a threat. It puts us into fight, flight, or freeze. And which was really great when we were facing life-threatening situations like saber-toothed tigers and things like that. But now if somebody says something that seems unfriendly to us, that same response happens and we start to have this response. And one of the things that happens is it starts pumping cortisol into the body, which is great if you have to fight an animal or run away from it. But in a situation where there's nothing you can really do, it just gets stuck in your body and has all sorts of unfortunate consequences to that. So that's the sympathetic nervous system is when we go into that. And then the parasympathetic nervous system is when the brain says, okay, coast is clear, tiger's gone, we can calm down now and allow the blood to flow where it needs to go in the body and things like that.
Yeah. And what an amazing and quick and easy way to do it. I was just watching your
Yeah.
videos. It's just so accessible. So thank you for making it so accessible. It's amazing. Um, I wanted to go into a little bit of my experience with it as well. With tapping, I know that, yeah, there's been so many different experiences I've had, like just stress fall off, doubts and fears, just like, oh, what even was that? Like
Right.
sort of gone in a couple tapping videos. I'm like, oh, great. Like I feel empowered. Mood, energy, perspective shifts. But I've also had a lot of strange synchronicities happen off the back of a video. Like I might be doing a tapping video for, let's say, money, and then like I get a really delightful phone call about like a positive money situation, or I get a strange email stating that X amount of money is going into my bank account. So it's not just with money, it's with all these different things like money, love. Yeah, what like you have over like you have so many videos. You have a video on everything. I think you just type in Brad Yates and then whatever you need on YouTube, and I'm guarantee
There's a tap for that.
there is a tap for that. So yeah, where I was going with it is is these synchronicities. I know that you've been doing it for what, years, like over a decade. What strange synchronicities have come up for you?
Oh, I mean, I live a pretty blessed life. So, and part of that is tapping daily. I definitely recommend tapping daily because it's energy hygiene. So we have physical hygiene like brushing our teeth and taking showers. Most of us do it on a regular basis. We don't usually wait until people are holding their noses around us and go, oh, that's right, I haven't taken a shower in a week and a half.
Mm,
But with stress, we don't usually have a way of dealing with that. And most of us aren't even aware of the stress that's there. There's ambient levels of stress that are going on. And that blocks the good things that can come to us. The universe has so much good for us. And so when I talk about abundance, it's money as well as love and health and just wonderful events. So as we clear out negativity, as we clear out upsets, as we clear out low vibrational emotions, we naturally are a magnet to really good things showing up. So like when I was doing this challenge recently where I was doing weekly videos, suddenly I get a call from like Bob Proctor, who's one of my heroes, and had the opportunity to talk with him on the phone for like 45 minutes, like, and just have this great conversation. It's like, oh, that's really cool. I must have, created that opening from these things. And that's the thing is, as I've been doing this work, it has led to, synchronicities and opportunities and people phoning me up and even things like this, cool people saying, hey, would you be on my podcast? It's like, absolutely. And that to me is an awesome manifestation. So thank you for playing your part in that.
oh, yay. I love that. Thank you. Um, and so yeah, the next thing that you sort of already touched on it, but to make it a bit more clear for the listeners, like manifestation is a bit of a buzzword at the moment for everyone. And yeah, like what I've realized in watching your videos and what I know about manifestation, um, everything is possible. It just has to do with like the resistance that you have to it, as you've said so many times in your videos. So I'm learning.
Yeah. The
Um,
extent to which we don't have what we say we want tends to
yeah,
be the extent to which we're resisting it. And mostly
exactly.
we resist it because of fear, some fear that we're not consciously aware of. We have our vision board and we say, oh, I want this, I want that. And we say that we're, oh, I'm excited about it. I'm imagining myself in it. And that's the 10% of our conscious mind. And the
Mm,
other 90%, the unconscious, is saying, oh, that's fine. You go ahead and you daydream. And we're just going to make sure it doesn't happen because we're afraid of what other people will think. We're afraid that people will be jealous. We're afraid that if we have something, we'll lose it and be more painful to lose it than to never have it. And all kinds of things like that.
mm,
So
mm,
we brilliantly sabotage those manifestations because self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love.
mm,
And so
mm.
that's where we stop ourselves. We allow ourselves to imagine it, but we stop ourselves from having it because some part of us says, it doesn't feel safe. It doesn't feel right. Maybe it's that I don't feel I deserve it because some old misunderstandings have convinced me that I'm unworthy, that I'm undeserving, things like that. I'm not good enough. So those are all misunderstandings that fortunately are tappable issues.
Tappable issues. I love
And
it.
as we clear those fears and those reasons why we couldn't or shouldn't manifest something, why we couldn't or shouldn't have it, funny enough, these things start showing up in our lives.
Mm, yes, yes. And that's what I found as well. I found that EFT was just good for my body, mind, spirit, but also good to clear the resistance towards the things that I want and just it's almost like opening up the pathway and then when something else comes up and blocks it, it's like, oh, I'll just do another video. So it's brilliant. I just think it's such an easy way to clear the resistance out of our bodies. And I feel that even if, let's say on the video, I do a tapping video with you, Brad, and let's say it clears like 60%, it will lead me to clear the next 40%, whether it be with another video or something completely different. So it puts you on the path of what you want to create or achieve. Yeah.
When we're tapping, it's often like peeling the layers of the onion. So we clear off a certain level of something, and that creates a new opening. And it may lead to something that's not EFT. We may suddenly, as we're tapping and clearing out something, suddenly we see a video for like a hypnosis video on YouTube, or something else, or it's a video on YouTube about marketing that we hadn't noticed before, but because we had been blocking ourselves from seeing it, because our mind is distracting us brilliantly.
Yes.
So it's kind of like a chess grandmaster, who's thinking 50 moves ahead, looks at the board and says, okay, if I do this, then this will happen, then this will happen, this will happen, and then it's checkmate. Okay, don't make that move. So we may be saying, you know what, I'd really like to be in a relationship. And we're in the grocery store and we see this attractive stranger standing a little ways away. And we start going to that chess grandmaster, thinking out the moves. I could go up and say hi to that person. They might say hi back. And we might start up a conversation. We might find out that we have some things in common, and we might go out to dinner, and that might lead to another date and a third date. We might move in together and get married, and they divorce me and I'd be ruined just like my parents were. And oh, look, there's a sale on aisle 2. And we're down aisle 2 before we're even consciously aware of that person. And then we're standing down in aisle 2, looking at the sale item and going, gosh, I wish I could meet somebody. And because that part of us is just saying, look, if you go up and say hi to that person, it's going to lead to heartache, because it did in the past, either for us or for someone else. And so we're brilliantly trying to protect ourselves from that. And as we allow ourselves to keep tapping, we peel the layers of the onion, and we start to see, oh, yes, well, that person broke my heart. Okay, well, now that I found out some things about that person was a real jerk, or they were wrong for me, or they had different ambitions, and that way would have never worked out anyway. So it's fine. And it has nothing to do with me not being the right person, because I wasn't meant to be the right person for the wrong person. And we can clear out that stuff and say, yes, relationships are great with the right person. And when I find the right person, it's going to be awesome. So, but we unconsciously block ourselves from seeing somebody based on the fear that it'd be bad. So like we might tap through, and then we see that video on marketing that we hadn't seen before, because some part of us had unconsciously noticed it and said, no, if I do that, I'll put myself out there and I'll make mistakes and I'll make a fool of myself. And it's better if I never see that video.
Yeah.
And it may be just the exact video that we need to see to take that next level in our career.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Amazing synchronicities that come from EFT. And something just popped in my mind. Where did it go? Oh, it was so good. It was so strong. Oh, yeah, emotional release as well. Like, I don't think we touched on that yet. Like, sometimes I'll start the video and I might be a bit tense, and it could be a video about anything. And then sometimes I'll end the video and I'll just end up crying, but I'll feel so light and amazing afterwards. So that's another benefit that I got, like just pent up tension. As well as while I'm tapping, I might get sort of visions or feelings or emotions come up that it feels like I'm releasing as well. It's brilliant.
Yeah. And so often we're not aware of that. And that's why I recommend it on a daily basis, because we're letting go of stuff that it's like, wow, I didn't even realize that I was being bothered by that. I didn't realize how much stress I had about that. Times where I've done interviews with folks and they're saying they're feeling absolutely great. And I say, okay, Bill, we're going to do a tapping round. And at the end of it, they go, wow, I thought I was in a really good place. And I feel so good. It's like, well, you may have been in a really good place, but nothing's so good that it can't get better. And most of us aren't aware of the ambient stress that we're carrying and the emotions that are pent up in the body. And then as we start tapping, and as you said, it could be tapping about anything. I'll say to folks, it doesn't matter which video you pick. I mean, certainly pick one that seems relevant if you want to. You can look for one. But if you're not sure of what to tap on, you could pick almost any video. And just the process of tapping will be peeling the layers of the onion and releasing things that we may not have been aware were there. And we're going to feel better. It may be very subtle. And sometimes it may be very profound. And I've had so many people write and say on a particular video, yeah, looking at the title, I didn't think this was something I needed, but I'm so glad I watched it.
Oh, yeah.
It shifted something that I didn't even know was bothering me.
Oh yeah, I've definitely experienced that before. Yeah, what I do when I look at the videos, sometimes I just feel into which one I need, even if
Yeah.
the title doesn't make sense to me. And then I'll be watching the video, tapping along, and I'll be like, Brad, you're speaking to me right now. It's like you've just come into my mind and said exactly what I needed to tap on. It feels so surreal.
I get
And
that a lot.
yeah, yeah, I've seen that in your comment section. Like, it's
Yeah.
amazing. I this is just a question for me. Like, I'm so curious. Do you come up with these these words on the spot? Because they're just so spot on.
Yeah, it's very much a sort of channeling process. It's an
Mm,
intuitive process. When I start a video, I may only have one or two words that about what the video is going to be about.
mm,
Um, like, I just wrote something down here: worry versus care, mindless eating, things like that.
yeah.
And so that's all I'll have, and then I'll start the tapping around, and I don't know what's going to happen, and it just kind of comes through me. I could try scripting something, but then in the process, I would go, oh wait, no, I want to say this now. So I could take the
Mm,
same subject and tap on it a dozen times, and each time it's going to be slightly different. And a lot of it has to do, especially if I'm working with someone, or even if I'm in a group, and I pick up energy from folks. It's really funny thing that happens sometimes is I love to use analogies, as you've
mm.
probably heard.
Yes.
And I will sometimes be tapping with someone, and I'll come up with an analogy that I've never thought of before. And I was like, well, it's like this, tap, 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 tap. And afterwards they'll say, well, that's something that's really happened to me. It's
Mm,
like, oh, isn't that funny? Because there's a
mm.
connection that happens. We're all connected energetically. And so in this work, sometimes there's a connection happens, and I'll just pick up thoughts that the other person is somehow transmitting.
It's amazing.
I wish I could control that in a psychic way, and just be able to, if I'm in an argument with someone, be able to read their mind. It doesn't quite work that way for me, but but in the process of the healing work, just ideas come to me, and my job is, as I'm tapping along, is to clear out my resistance so that I'm an
Mm,
open channel for that.
yeah. Oh, that's so amazing. And I just imagine 33 million views. Like just the amount of collective karma that you are assisting to release. It's amazing. So thank you so much. I'm just wondering, like, what motivates you? You know, 1,000 videos, like some people start things and after let's say 10, 20, even 100, they're like, okay, I'm done. Like, what motivated you to keep going?
Just the ideas keep coming,
Yeah.
and it just a thought will come, and it's like, oh, I think this will really help people. Yeah, I should
Mm,
make that. I my I work for a higher power. I call it God. I don't insist anybody else calls it by any particular thing, but it's like I work for God, and God says, hey, do this. And it's like, okay. So, and I mean, for all the videos I have long lists of video. I just looked at a page, I my day planner. So I
mm,
write down all my ideas there, and I have probably another 1,000 ideas that I've come up with that I haven't done videos for yet. So there's just, it's just what I feel like I'm supposed to do. Look at the
mm,
world. It's like, okay, here's something that I can do to make a difference.
mm.
And I'm very blessed to get to do what I do, and it leads to all kinds of cool circumstances.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's like a real calling for you. I understand. I understand that voice that gives you that idea because that's what led me to having this interview with you. It just kept coming. It wouldn't stop. So I was like, I just need to send him an interview request and see what happens with it because it just wouldn't stop coming. So I completely get it. Yeah.
Gotta go with those gut feelings.
Mm,
The worst
mm.
that could have happened would be I'd say no, and then it's like, okay, well, now I got that out of my system. Now I can find out who's supposed to be on my show.
Yeah,
you know
exactly. And so many people are afraid just to take that leap because of all the things that you said, all the conditioning around fear of failure and all the things. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's we give meaning to things. So there's that thought of, what if I ask him to be on my show and he says no? Then that'll probably mean that I'm not good enough and I'm not worthy of his time. When in fact it couldn't be that, because who am I to say what you're worthy of? You're a magnificent child of the universe. You're worthy and deserving of the best this world has to offer. I may not have the time in my schedule to do it, but who am I to say you're not good enough?
Mm,
So, but it's our own fear of, well, maybe I'm not good enough. And then we manifest situations that seem to say that, because
mm,
we love to prove ourselves right. We
yeah.
as human beings, we love to be right, and we will manifest situations that prove whatever belief we have. It's like, if I have
Mm,
this belief that I'm not good enough, and then I'll manifest a situation where someone says, no, I don't have time for you. It's like,
mm,
see? And part of us is celebrating, going, I was right. I was right about myself. I'm not good enough. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's kind of crazy, but that's how we're programmed. And it's
Mm,
allowing ourselves to get free of that and say, okay, hey, that's fine. If this person's not right, as Jack Canfield says, when they say no, you say next.
yeah.
There's so many people out there. It's like, oh, okay, well, apparently that was not the right person for my show, or that was not the right person for me to go out with, or that was not the right person to be a business partner with, or whatever it might be. So rejection to me is just redirection.
Mm,
It's like
yes.
going into the butcher shop and asking for a loaf of bread, and they say no. And we don't stand there in the butcher shop going, if I was good enough, they'd have a loaf of bread for me. No, they wouldn't. You got to go to the baker. You got to go to the right place. And thinking that it means something about us, that someone is incapable of giving us something that they don't have,
Mm,
is where we get lost and confused and stuck. And it's allowing
mm,
ourselves to say, okay, that's fine. But we spend so much time standing there wanting a loaf of bread, and we stand for so long in the butcher shop, or
mm,
just outside the butcher shop, and we're afraid to go in and ask. It's
mm,
like, well, I really want a loaf of bread, but what if it's like, okay, so the worst that could happen is they say no and they redirect you to the bakery.
mm.
But we stand there outside going, oh, I don't know, and we're starving.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you go in, you say, hey, you walk in and you contacted me and said, hey, would you be on the show? And the worst that could happen is I say no, and it's like, okay, I can cross that off my list.
Mm. And what I will say is, the day that I actually asked you was after I did 7 tapping videos, so it must have taken that much to just. But I must say that when I did it, it wasn't like I thought to do it. It was like my body moved me to it, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
it was like it just had to happen. So yeah.
We are drawn towards what we want. Uh, in The Science of Getting Rich, Wallace D. Wattles talks about the
Mm,
advancing woman. We are naturally drawn to things being better and better. And as we clear our resistance, so we keep thinking, I need to push forward to this. It's like, no, as you clear your resistance, you're drawn forward to it.
mm, mm,
And we will get those ideas. It's like, I just have to do this.
mm,
And when I wrote my children's book, I was really resistant to doing the illustrations. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to do like 18 drawings. And I just had all this resistance. And I contacted a friend of mine, and she did some tapping with me. And over the next week, I did 40 drawings.
mm.
It's like I couldn't stop myself. There's
Yeah.
that part of us that uh, will just reach in and say, no, come here.
Yeah, yeah. It's like clearing the resistance allows you to access the flow state. Mm.
Absolutely. Great that you use that term, because I've been hearing that a lot. I've been listening to a lot of Stephen Kotler recently, who talks about flow state, and
Mm. Mm.
Mihai Csikszentmihalyi's work, and really getting to that flow and having a simple tool for clearing the resistance that gets in the way of flow. This is just a simple way of getting ourselves into that.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. So simple. All right. I'm
Maybe we
gonna
should do some tapping on that.
Yeah, to get into the flow state. Well, the funny thing is, the next question and the last question I was going to have was probably very much related to flow state. It was for the people feeling a bit stuck right now, what would your advice to them be? So, stuck, resistance, flow state.
Let's explore that, shall we? So real quick, for those of you who are not familiar with EFT, let me quickly show you, for those of you who are listening by audio, I'll demonstrate it. I'll tell you where to do this. So you're going to take the fingertips of your index and middle finger on your dominant hand, and you're going to gently tap on the opposite hand, right on the side of your hand. So if you're in a karate class and you're going to break some boards, the edge of your hand that you would use right there between your wrist and your pinky, and just gently tapping there. And what we would do is take whatever was bothering us. So for instance, let's say I'm just really angry at Bob. Bob really just pissed me off. And I'd ask myself, on a scale of 0 to 10, how angry am I? Oh, it's an 8. He was a real jerk. And what is the physical sensation? I just feel my fists clenching. Just really want to pop him one. So I would tap on the side of the hand and say, even though I'm really angry at Bob, I choose to love and accept myself. And I would repeat that 3 times. And it's just creating a statement of self-acceptance, because so often we get mad at ourselves for having these feelings. Oh, I'm a good person. I shouldn't feel anger. And it's allowing ourselves to say, I love and accept myself, even though I have this anger at Bob, or I feel this stress, or I have this fear, or I feel stuck. So we repeat that 3 times. Then we're going to tap right at the beginning of your eyebrow. So just right near the center of your face. And we gently tap, usually between 5 and 10 times, but it depends because we're going to be saying different phrases. So if it's a longer phrase, we might be tapping 20 times. It's not an exact science. It's a very forgiving process. It's not like the body goes, oh, you tapped 15 times. Now we have to restart all over again. So we gently tap the eyebrow and repeat whatever the reminder phrase is, like this anger at Bob. Follow your eyebrow out to the side of your face or the side of your eye, so the corner of your eye socket. So at the side of your eye, tapping gently there and say this anger at Bob, or whatever the issue is. Following the edge of your eye socket to right under the middle of your eye, just above your cheek. All this anger at Bob. Right under your nose, just above your upper lip. All this anger at Bob. And tapping just below your lower lip, just above your chin. All this anger at Bob. Then where your collarbones just about meet, there's a little U shape at the base of your throat. And if you tap with all of your fingertips there, or make a fist there, you can tap the ends of the collarbone. All this anger at Bob. Next is about 4 inches below your armpit. That's right about bra strap level. And I'm sure any guys listening can figure that too. All this anger at Bob. And finally, the top of your head. So using all of your fingertips, just tapping around the crown of your head. All this anger at Bob. You take a deep breath and check in again. And oh, my hands are relaxed. Oh, it's down to maybe a 2. And sometimes it'll go from an 8 to a 0 like that. Sometimes it'll go from an 8 to a 7.75, but we might get more clarity about it. And it may be that as we're peeling the layers of the onion, we might be tapping through this anger at Bob, this anger. Oh, you know what? It's not even Bob. It's Cindy. In the 3rd grade, Cindy did something just like this, and I never forgave her. And just what Bob did just reminded me of what Cindy did. And now I can clear an issue that may have been stuck in my body for decades, which is really cool. Yeah. So those are the points. So now we're going to have some fun with getting into the flow state. So close your eyes, take a deep breath. And just following your breath through your body. Say, I feel stuck.
I feel stuck.
And maybe it's just a feeling of being stuck in general, or you may be working on a particular goal. Maybe it's a business goal, a financial goal, a physical goal, trying to, reach an ideal level of fitness or something like that, someplace where you feel stuck. And just allow yourself to be aware on a scale of 0 to 10, how stuck you feel. Notice where in your body you might feel it. Notice what thoughts, beliefs, or memories might contribute to that stuck feeling. And take a deep breath, open your eyes, and just I'll tell you what points to tap and then repeat back the phrase that I say. And Emily, if you want to be my echo voice,
Mm-hmm.
even though I feel stuck,
Even though I feel stuck,
I choose to love and accept myself.
I choose to love and accept myself.
Even though I feel stuck,
Even though I feel stuck,
I choose to love and honor myself.
I choose to love and to honor myself.
Even though I feel stuck,
Even though I feel stuck,
and I'd really love to go with the flow,
and I'd really love to go with the flow.
I would really like to be moving forward.
I would really like to be moving forward.
I really want to make things happen.
I really want to make things happen.
And part of me apparently doesn't.
And part of me apparently doesn't.
Part of me is digging in its heels.
Part of me is digging in its heels.
And slowing me down.
And slowing me down.
And even though I feel so stuck,
and even though I feel so stuck,
I choose to deeply and completely
I choose to deeply and completely
love, honor, and accept myself.
Love, honor, and accept myself.
And maybe anyone else who contributes to this.
And maybe anyone else who contributes to this.
Eyebrow. I feel so stuck.
I feel so stuck.
Side of the eye. I really feel stuck.
I really feel stuck.
Under the eye. I want to be moving forward.
I want to be moving forward.
Onto the nose. I want to be going with the flow.
I want to be going with the flow.
Onto the mouth. I'd really like to achieve flow state.
I'd really like to achieve flow state.
Collarbone. But that's not where I'm at right now.
But that's not where I'm at right now.
Onto the arm. I'm flowing like molasses.
I'm flowing like molasses.
Or Vegemite.
Or Vegemite.
Eyebrow point. I'm definitely not moving quickly.
I'm definitely not moving quickly.
Side of the eye. And maybe I'm not moving at all.
And maybe I'm not moving at all.
Onto the eye. At least that's what it feels like.
At least that's what it feels like.
Onto the nose. And it's really frustrating.
And it's really frustrating.
Onto the mouth. All this frustration.
All this frustration.
Collarbone. And all this anger at myself.
And all this anger at myself.
Onto the arm. I get really angry at myself when I feel stuck.
I get really angry at myself when I feel stuck.
Top of the head. Because I've been programmed to believe that will motivate me.
Because I've been programmed to believe that will motivate me.
Eyebrow point. So how's that working for me?
So how's that working for me?
Side of the eye. Or does it just make me feel more stuck?
Or does it just make me feel more stuck?
Onto the eye. And I choose to clear the fear.
I choose to clear all of the fear.
Onto the nose. That's causing me to be stuck.
That's causing me to be stuck.
Onto the mouth. I'm not stuck because I'm bad or stupid.
I'm not stuck because I'm bad or stupid.
Collarbone. I'm not stuck because I'm weak or lazy.
I'm not stuck because I'm weak or lazy.
Onto the arm. I'm stuck because part of me is afraid.
I'm stuck because part of me is afraid.
Top of the head. If I could flow forward.
If I could flow forward.
Eyebrow point. What am I afraid would happen?
What am I afraid would happen?
Side of the eye. If I was really going with the flow.
If I was really going with the flow.
On the eye. And I was manifesting things left and right.
And I was manifesting things left and right.
Onto the nose. What am I afraid would happen?
What am I afraid would happen?
Onto the mouth. Maybe I'm afraid I couldn't handle it.
Maybe I'm afraid I couldn't handle it.
Collarbone. Maybe I'm afraid friends would be jealous.
Maybe I'm afraid friends would be jealous.
Onto the arm. As long as I'm stuck.
As long as I'm stuck.
Top of the head. No one gets upset with me.
No one gets upset with me.
Eyebrow point. No one's jealous.
No one's jealous.
Side of the eye. Being stuck feels safer.
Being stuck feels safer.
Onto the eye. I've been upset with myself for being stuck.
I've been upset with myself for being stuck.
Onto the nose. And I choose to acknowledge.
And I choose to acknowledge.
On the mouth. I have brilliantly gotten myself stuck.
I have brilliantly gotten myself stuck.
Collarbone. As a way of protecting myself.
As a way of protecting myself.
Onto the arm. I choose to love and appreciate those parts of me.
I choose to love and appreciate those parts of me.
Top head. That have dug in their heels.
That have dug in their heels.
Eyebrow point. And made me feel stuck.
And made me feel stuck.
Side of the eye. Thinking that's what I needed to stay safe.
Thinking that's what I needed to stay safe.
Onto the eye. And I choose to be open to the possibility.
And I choose to be open to the possibility.
Onto the nose. that I could handle moving forward.
that I could handle moving forward.
On a mouth, I could handle flowing forward.
I could handle flowing forward.
Collarbone, I can handle the consequences.
I can handle the consequences.
And if consequences come up,
And if consequences come up,
top of head, I know how to tap for that now.
I know how to tap for that now.
Eyebrow point, so it's safe for me to move forward.
So it's safe for me to move forward.
Sade eye, I can handle moving forward.
I can handle moving forward.
Ade eye, releasing the fears.
Releasing all the fears.
Onto the nose, releasing them at a cellular level.
Releasing them at a cellular level.
Onto the mouth, releasing them all the way back through my past.
Releasing them all the way back through my past.
Column, all those fears of moving forward.
All those fears of moving forward.
Ade, I'm letting them go.
I'm letting them go.
Top of the head, so I joyfully move forward.
So I joyfully move forward.
In body, mind, and spirit.
In body, mind, and spirit.
And take a deep breath. Close your eyes and say, I'm stuck.
I'm stuck.
Let that rattle around again and notice on a scale of 0 to 10 how strong that might feel. And hopefully that number has come way down, and you may just also have awareness. Maybe memories came up and different things that you might then go tap on specifically of reasons why, oh, this is why I've been stuck. I'm so afraid that this will happen. You know, my parents would be jealous if I had more success than they did, or my best friend will this, or whatever it might be. And then we can realize, all right, I'm not helping anybody by being stuck.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for that. That was so amazing. Once again, I felt like you were speaking to me, specifically to me. So thank you so much. I love
Well,
that.
you're right there. So
yeah, thank you so much for being here, Brad. And thank you so much for helping clear out this, the collective karma and the individual karma as well. I thank you so much for being here with me on the show. So for people that don't know, where can people find you?
thank you. Easiest way is at tapwithbrad.com. I'm also on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tap with Brad.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, as you're saying, the collective and the individual, I mean, you talked about the show being about raising the collective consciousness. Well, we do that one person at a time, but everything is connected, everything's energy. So as we raise our own consciousness, we inherently and naturally raise the consciousness of the planet. So thank you to everyone. Thank you to you for having the show and for doing what you're doing. Thank you to everyone who's listening and was willing to do this strange looking process to set yourself free to raise your consciousness and thus the consciousness of the collective whole.
I love it. Thank you so much, Brad. Thank you.